actual master herbalists, as I explained in an earlier video. But there are numerous highly effective, highly adaptable herbalists that I don't at all mind calling great. And becoming greater, larger, better equipped, more insightful, more efficacious is an entirely realistic and attainable goal for any of you committed to doing the healer's work. It's great to advance our knowledge and increase our abilities. It's great to attain a foundational understanding from which we can further develop and to be able to serve as mentors and inspirators as well as caregivers. I previously described 10 areas of study that help make it possible to improve as healers. Now we're going to talk about 10 personal traits that we can work on developing, work on strengthening in order to become ever greater at the healing missions that each of us has chosen. The first is awareness and the power of noticing. We're all born with degrees of awareness of our bodies and our needs, of our native strengths and our weaknesses, our fears and our dreams. And we all start with a natural capacity for awareness of our environs, from potential dangers to available pleasures. The part that we can grow and develop is the actual conscious part, the noticing, discerning a thing or need, a plant or an action, a relationship, a cause or a consequence, and distinguishing it from the vast fields of elements that it's embedded in. Important is not just the number of relevant things that you notice, but the depth of your awareness of them. The more you get to know them, the more lessons and blessings you're given, and the more able you are to utilize them in your understandings and your practice. Similarly, we start off as kids with a curiosity about everything. Every discovery, no matter how small, is generally followed up immediately by inquiry, a bubbling up of seemingly endless exploratory questions. The most minute or commonplace of things still manage to appear interesting, each and everything housing some aspect or message or purpose yet to be revealed. To the degree that we lose this in adulthood, we lose the impetus to explore and the drive for discovery. The curious student of life is forever learning new things, and the practitioner who follows their interests is an effective and fulfilled practitioner indeed. Secondly, enthusiasm and passion. Following our interests is what leads most of us into any field or endeavor, with an interest in plants and an interest in helping people being the primary motivation for most of us herbalists. But we also need enthusiasm for our studies, enthusiasm for our work and our mission, if we have any hopes of sustaining it, let alone expanding it. When that enthusiasm is coupled with a persistent hungering to know and to do, that's what we call a passion. And don't be fooled into thinking you need to appear strictly clinical, unemotional, or contained in order to be credible health providers. The more passionate we are about related interests and aims, the greater will be our education, the greater our efforts and results as practicing plant healers. Thirdly, sensory engagement. When doing our best, we recognize and evaluate the world through the lens of our physical primal senses, even before we parse and evaluate stuff using our reason, logic, or other mental processes. We can identify plants and guess their actions often by just smelling them or placing them on our tongue. We can sense something is wrong, even without thinking about what it might be, since smells and tastes can provide advanced warnings about a lot of things that can harm us. And smells and tastes can also provide pleasurable hints about what we should be trying, consuming, or giving out to our family and clients. Even when they don't immediately result in some discovery or realization, it is our ancient senses that reward us with many of the feelings and flavors that make our lives rewarding and our work enjoyable, like the tickle of a pine branch as we step deeper into a forest, or the sweetness of a mint stem, or moving through a world awash in botanical bouquets. Fourth trait, pattern thinking. Living only in our heads could lead to disembodiment and disconnection, and yet thinking in various different ways is perhaps the next most beneficial of plant healer traits. Many thoughts are observations narrated by, in other words, given words by, the mind. Occasionally something as simple as a statement of recognition, identification, or judgment. Such thoughts often remain a minimally useful script until the point where we connect a thing or a subject to a larger contextual matrix, connecting them to each other and to possible future outcomes through the use of visualizations, pertinent questions, salient comparisons, and informed speculations. There's nothing that can't be better understood within a patterning of subjects and contexts, a patterning of organs and agents, qualities and symptoms, of relationships and interactions, causes and effects, of known histories and projected futures. And in fact, nothing is ever truly disconnected, only disassociated. And all topics and stories, all paths and means, all herbs and illnesses have an influence on each other to one degree or another. Like the filaments of subterranean mycorrhizal fungi, if you tug on any single strand, the whole of dynamic life shifts and vibrates and reorients. Fifth trait, thinking outside the box. It's pretty crucial that we think about things such as minds and bodies, different approaches, methodologies, diverse plants and habitats, diets and diseases as being interconnected and interactive elements functioning within a larger process, a larger container, components of an evolving organic whole. Equally important is not letting our thought processes, our conclusions or reactions be limited to any single set of assumptions, transitions, traditions, methods, belief systems. We can't be great at healing without growing our proclivity to explore, our proclivity to alter, to adapt. And the fear of trying new things is just one of the ways that our thinking can get boxed in and held back. The sixth trait, critical thinking. This essential type of thinking is critical, and there's no pun intended. You cannot fully or accurately assess a thing or an idea without a critical evaluation of its weaknesses or problems, of its evident merits and its possible benefits. Critical thinking is not just about exposing potential faults. It's about determining helpful abilities, blessings, and advantages. Critical thinking is a trait that helps us figure out what action or direction to take amongst what are always myriad complex options. Seventh, envisioning and foresight. Besides assessing things in the moment, utilizing our foresight can be mighty helpful characteristic. What are the possible long-term effects of a certain way of thinking, of an activity or a lifestyle, of an herb or a treatment, I ask you? What consequences or results should remain on the lookout for? And what optimum outcomes can we possibly hope and try for? Like foresight, envisioning is the imagining of possible futures. The difference is that foresight names what might happen to us or around us, while envisioning is us purposefully painting a picture of what we want to happen, a picture of what we can do to manifest it. The eighth trait to consider, decisiveness. After critical assessment, careful evaluation, vision and foresight, surely comes choice and decision. No matter what the external conditions and factors, it falls on us to pick what we understand to be the optimal path, the optimal route, means, and methods for serving our needs, our service to others, and our dreams and our desires. Everything we choose and do is our personal responsibility, like it or not. It's our responsibility because it's we who select from all the options, whether we're aware that we're making choices or not. The trait of decisiveness means that our choices are made consciously and as promptly as they're needed. Avoiding the responsibility of decision-making can result in being at the mercy of ambivalence, and it can result in the stalling out of our progress, the stalling out of our projects. Ninth, determination. Determination is defined in my dictionary as a firmness of purpose, doing what it takes to accomplish some goal no matter how many the challenges. Determination is the insistence that can come from a strong sense of purpose or mission. In the case of an herbalist, for example, determination is what's needed to do the plant healer's work in the face of limited social acceptance, extensive studies, encroaching regulation, and often minimal income. When we assist someone's healing from a formidable health condition, it often requires that we try multiple strategies, that we adapt different formulas, that we engage in astute observation over time, and our resolute determination to keep on trying until we're able to make things finally better. And 10th, lastly, wonderment. There's no way I could leave out this empowering characteristic, the childlike ability to be amazed by the wondrous, to be able to find the amazing in the so-called ordinary. Wonderment works to keep you engaged, motivated, looking ahead, and feeling rewarded. It not only fills us with awe for the plants that we work with, but awe for the actual natural processes of healing and for the deliberate, caring part that we play in it. These 10 traits are not a set of requirements for entering the healing trade, believe me, and are not some set of qualifications that you need to meet in order to be considered worthy. What they are improvable attributes, useful tools, and enjoyable assets and fulfilling benefits. You can look at them as a nesting of traits that we're all born with to one degree or another. Characteristics and ways of being that even the wisest and most advanced practitioner can still develop and grow and broaden and deepen and fine-tune to our purposes, putting them to ever better use on our personal plant healer paths. I hope you'll find this useful in your ever more meaningful life and practice. It's going to be great, believe me. And so, my friends, will you.